Welcome to ReadyLIFT TV. I'm Landon. Today we're going to be installing the rear of this 2015 Jeep JK with our ReadyLIFT MaxFlex 4-inch suspension system. This is part 2, so we're going to head to the back because we've already done part 1. Let's go. Before we get started, allowing the axle to drop out, we have to gain enough slack. We have to remove the ABS line, the brake line bracket, disconnect the ebrake bracket, as well as this being a Rubicon, we have to disconnect the locker lines. Now that we got the axle supported, we're going to remove the shocks. We're going to do the lower part of the sway bar in links. We're going to grab a 19mm wrench for the inside of the upper. Before lowering the axle, allowing the coil springs to come out, we have to disconnect the track bar. We're only going to disconnect on this side. Now we're going to lower the axle down, removing the coil springs. Now that we got the axle drooped out and get the coil springs out, let's remove the upper arms. Now that we got the upper arm out, we're going to install our preset upper control arms out of the MaxFlex kit. Now that we got the upper preset arms in place, we're going to remove the lower arm. When installing these ReadyLIFT off-road MaxFlex arms, the link side goes to the frame, the Johnny joint goes to the axle. As you can see, the ReadyLIFT off-road logo goes up. One of the benefits to the ReadyLIFT off-road suspension links is that we narrow the cup on the upper rear link for increased wheel travel without binding. Now that we got all the rear suspension links installed, we're going to install this rear heavy-duty track bar bracket. What this does is it puts the factory track bar back in the correct location at ride height. This is a crush sleeve that goes inside where the factory track bar was. What this does is doesn't allow this bracket to crush as we're tightening this down. These are the U-bolts to hold the heavy-duty track bar bracket around the axle tube. Now we're going to raise the axle up so we can get this track bar bolt in. Now that we got our track bar bracket installed with the track bar, we've raised the axle up just enough to get the coil springs in. But before we do, we're going to take the factory isolators, put them on top of the new coil springs. As you can see, it says rear, and let's install them. Now that we got these springs in place, we're going to install these end links supplied in the kit. You're going to note that the rear are the longer of the two. Now we're ready to install the brake line extension bracket, utilizing the bolt that we saved from earlier. Now we're ready to install these Fox 2.0. This is an option on this kit. Now we're ready to install the ebrake extension bracket. Now we're ready to install our bump stop extensions. That way you don't bottom your shocks out or rip off your fenders with your tire. Now that we completed installing the ReadyLIFT off-road suspension 4-inch Max Flex kit on this 2015 JK, we're going to go back through, put a torque wrench on every single nut and bolt that we touched, and run it down to spec. Now that we got everything buttoned up, torqued down, besides our Max Flex suspension links, we'll do those when we get them on the ground at ride height. First, we got to put on these wheels and tires. These are a 17-inch method with a 37-inch Toyo. Before getting this vehicle on the ground, the last step is to straighten the steering wheel by adjusting the pitman arm. That way our ESP, electronic steering position sensor, doesn't flip out. This concludes the install of our ReadyLIFT off-road Max Flex 4-inch suspension system on this 2015 Jeep JK. If you have any questions or would like to see more of our Jeep products, please go to www.readylift.com.